Okay, we're doing lesson 8 on quadratic functions. Okay, so in the previous lessons, you have learned about nonlinear functions. So one type of nonlinear function is called a quadratic function. So there are many functions that are not linear, but they are functions. So if they are because they are not linear, we call them nonlinear functions. And one such nonlinear function is called a quadratic function. So a quadratic function is a function which the greatest power of the variable is 2. So what they are saying is, okay, so if I have a function, so this is not a quadratic function because the power of x is 1. So for you to be a quadratic function, you should always be like that. Or it can be a fraction, a decimal. As long as the power of x is 2, it cannot be another number. The power of x has to be 2 for you to be a quadratic. So, quadratic function, the power of x has to be 2, has to be only 2. Okay? So, like any other slope, this is the slope. This is the m. Here the m will be 1 over 4 because there's 1 over here. So it can be positive, it can be negative, like that, okay? Now let's go back here. Complete the graphic organizer by determining the facts about the quadratic function that are true or false. If false, give a true fact. So let's read. A function which the greatest power of the variable is 2. This is true. The graph only opens downwards. This is not true. The graph is a straight line. This is a lie because it is not a linear function. So here, this is false because it is non-linear. This one is true. No, this one can open downward or upward. You will see. So this is true. So these are the true facts about a quadratic function. These ones are false. Okay? So now let's come here. How does a quadratic graph look? The quadratic graph, like any other graph, will have an x and a y and 0. So your graph will either be like this or your graph will be like that. So this is opening downward because it's going like this. This is opening upward. So opening upward. Opening downward. Here the y-intercept is over here. Where your line touches the y-axis, that's the y-intercept. Then it has two x-intercepts. There's an x-intercept on this side and an x-intercept over here. So the quadratic function has two x-intercepts, but only one y-intercept. So the x-intercept even this one, both of them are x-intercepts. The same thing here, x-intercepts where your graph touches the x-axis, okay?